Hello and welcome once again. In the previous lesson, we discussed creating a new document in Microsoft Office Word, basically discussing the word processor. Um, we journeyed through the editing processes and a few things. We acquainted ourselves with the interface. I mean, consider this as the introductory session as far as this topic is concerned. Right. The name once again is Mark Atamensa, and I'm taking you through this course, and we're going to have a smooth sail, hopefully. Don't mind the background. We are in the new normal, so we are all adjusting. This recording is reaching you straight from the sound booth in my church, and I hope it really doesn't bother you so much. Just listen and then follow on through the demonstration. So we record wherever we find ourselves. Okay, so as I indicated, in this session we're going to talk about editing and formatting documents with Word 2019. We are going to delve a bit more deeper and progress a bit more further than what we did in the last session. Okay, so let's hit the nail on the head, shall we? Great. So we are going to look at these few objectives: inserting document comments, finding and replacing text, checking spelling and grammar, research information, changing line spacing and indents, applying styles to text. We're looking at inserting page numbers and page breaks, adding headers and footers, adding footnotes and endnotes. What exactly these terms even mean, we're going to look at them extensively. How to insert citations, creating bibliography and inspecting a document. Creating bibliography is a very key feature that is very important, and if there's nothing at all we need to learn, that can definitely not be missed. So we'll look at this. The slides will be moving alongside with demonstrations, and so let's get to it. Right. So what generally are comments? Comment, we say, is just a text inserted in a comment balloon. Comments definition has not changed. An opinion, a suggestion, anything that has to do with a context. So it appears on the right side of the document by default, and the comment mark and shading would then appear in the document at the point where you insert the comment. Okay, so a line will connect the comment mark to the balloon. So I'm going to demonstrate this so that you get to feel it. I mean, it's not a big deal. It looks something similar to what you see over here. So if you look at this diagram closely, we have this document with content, and then you see on the right side of it some selected text. So these ones you see here are the comment sections where the arrow is pointing exactly. So let's demo this very one so that at least we come to terms with exactly what we are talking about, so that it doesn't look anything too abstract. Is that okay? All right. So let's just jump into my platform. So I just create a blank sheet and then generate some random texts. Okay, so I call it the rand, and then it generates some random text for me. So you have this information here sitting on your Microsoft Office Word, as you can see. Now, if for any reason I wish to comment a section, I can highlight a line, I can highlight a paragraph, I can select. I don't have to use the word highlight. The word is select. I can select a word, I can select a line, I can select a paragraph, I can actually select the whole document. This we discussed in the previous session. So I can just pick this video word, and then you go to the review tab on your on the ribbon, and then you will notice under the comments group, there is the button called, excuse me, a button called new comment. Right, so you select this new comment, and then you will notice that the word you selected, there is a straight line that extends or marked all the way to the right side of the text, and then we can put in there, say, what do you mean by this information? Okay, so you can put a comment there. Another occasion, you can just come and select a whole paragraph and apply a comment to it. I think you should revise this message. So you will notice that basically this is just how it works. Now the importance of you knowing this is not just to pass the exam. The reality of the fact of the matter is that you will be engaging with your supervisors, particularly in your final year as you embark on your project works. No project student of mine has the right to go and print out his drafted work for me to review, and then I will use pen to mark portions. No, it doesn't happen. We are in a different time right now. Even regardless of lockdown, we wouldn't have entertained this kind of attitude. And now that we find ourselves in a new normal, so acquiring this set skill is really relevant and important, not just for you to get some marks or something. So you make progress with your work, you submit to your supervisor, your lecturer. He will review it by using his Microsoft Office Word, and then he will use these comment features just as I have demonstrated here. So it's something that you need to adjust to and know it's important. You also can use this in the industry when you find yourself in a very good position where you require these set skills. So I'll comment, you can reply back, and then indicate what you have done, put some message there. So I will see your name if it is your PC. Because this computer has been registered in my name, the documents that I open are bearing my name because I indicated the comments. Okay, so once the issue has been resolved, you can click on resolve. It will rather go fade instead of vanishing, and that enables us to interact meaningfully as to where we commented, what progress has been made, what your response has been, and so on and so forth. So this comment feature is very good and very useful. It's not supposed to be anything that should complicate life for anybody. So you can equally insert your own comments and so on and so forth. Now the question is, why would I need commenting? For what particular reason would you need commenting? There are a few things that we can talk about. You need commenting for several reasons. We can make mention of just a few for now. So let's just look at a few of the reasons why you may need commenting. So if you are working with several others, you can email each person a copy of a document and ask for their inputs, and they will present their input by way of commenting. And all you have to do is just click the file tab, click the share, and click the email, and then send as an attachment button. In the Microsoft Office Word, you see it right there, and then you enter the recipient's email address, and then just send it to them. It's actually pretty straightforward. Okay, so that's one of the things you can do. What other thing can we do in the Microsoft Office Word? We can also find and replace a text. We can also find and replace a text. So we use the command to search for all and replace all instances. So it's nothing too complicated. Demonstration will be the best approach to understand this. So let's hit the nail on the head. So if we have this content, same here, we could be interested in locating what do you call it, certain words. So let me see, the word you has appeared several times. Okay, so right from the home tab, you have several tools on your ribbon. The ribbon starts from this edge to this very edge. As you can see, the cursor moves. You'll notice under the editing group that we have find, replace, and then select. The find button is synonymous to the replace button. Okay, except that when you select the find, a navigation bar appears for you, and the reason why you has been identified across the entire text is simply because I selected it. So let me just undo that so that we know where we began from. Let me delete it. Okay, so here it is. Now when I click the find, nothing, I selected the U first, so it's still hovering inside there. but I can undo that. It's no big deal. Great. So find, the purpose of find is to just help you locate what do you call it, something that you want to identify from your document. Maybe you're looking for a word. It pertains to characters, of course, texts, not other objects, which we have not made mention of. So that's what the find comment does. So the find command does. So you use the find command to locate and highlight every occurrence of a word or a phrase in a document. But when it has to do with the replace, that's a bit advanced. So you may want to replace certain characters in your work. So when you click on the replace, you have to find something and then replace that something with something. So for example, I am going to replace all you with me. Okay. Now we have replaced for the selected text, for a particular selected text, and then we have replaced all, so that every instance of you in the text or the document will be changed into me. And it's so simple. So if I use replace all, there were 27 replacements that were made. Everywhere there was you, those three characters standing together, it replaced it with me. So this is how the feature generally works. It's nothing extraordinary. Okay, right. So you can use this navigation pane primarily for the find bit. So you come to the navigation pane. I'm looking for me, every instance of me, and they'll tell you that they have 42 results. If I want to see the pages, it's only one page. That is if the word is appearing on more than one page. You can come to the pages section. If it's appearing in the headings, that will also fall in that category. But typically the default display is all the results that are available. So this one is not complicated. It's easy to identify. The next thing has to do with the check spelling and grammar. Check spelling and grammar. So when you finish typing and revising your document, you can use the spelling and grammar checker command, and then you use that to correct your grammatic errors. So it does it best as far as it's concerned, as it's been made intelligent over the years. So it's able to flag certain possible mistakes without you even noticing, and it will suggest some correct spellings also for you, and it will offer some remedies in the as far as your grammar is concerned. So there's a lot of things that Word can do for you. So basically, we are talking about subject verb agreement, repeated words, punctuation, all these minor errors that can apply to a document. It can take care of all of that for you. So why don't we demonstrate this so that we experience it? So if for one reason or the other we have an issue with the text, or we wanted to review it for us, all of this event still happens under the what do you call the tab. It's delaying to open, but it will definitely come. Yes, it's also only a matter of time. It's also only a matter of time. It's supposed to be under the, what do we call it? Okay, so it's supposed to be under the review tab. Where is it? It's supposed to be here somewhere. It's supposed to be here somewhere. Okay, so we have the proofing. Yes, here we go. Proofing. It can also be accessed right here on the home tab. Okay, so my secondary monitor is a bit further from me, but it's fine. Right, great. So that is what you are seeing over there. We have you go to the editor, and then you will get to perform some of these things. So you come to the editor, and then you will see the English. The total suggestions they have made is 10 suggestions. Spelling and grammar. Grammar, he says, is all correct. Spelling, they have 8 suggestions for you. If it is English United Kingdom, 1 spelling, 1 grammar suggestions for you. So you can select that portion, and then you can identify exactly what it has seen. Me, myself, mere, you see the options here. Ignore ones, edit ones. Now this unique editor feature is quite advanced as compared to the previous editions of Microsoft Office Word. So that is how interesting it can be and useful it can be. So you leverage on that. Frankly, I rarely use this one for various reasons, but it is good, and it's good for you to acquaint yourself with it. Right. So that is about the grammar and spelling check. So there is also what referred to as the autocorrect, which you can trigger. The autocorrect feature of Microsoft Office Word. So what Microsoft Office Word does is that Word will automatically correct any misspelled words as and when it identifies them. So you can create your own autocorrect entries, because in this part of the world, some of our names cannot be found by Microsoft Office Word. It's not in their dictionary. So we say Kwekumenu, it will definitely underline Kwekumenu. So if you right click against the word, it could ask you to add the word to the dictionary, check the spelling, and add it to the dictionary. So it looks something like this. It doesn't know the word, so you can right click on it, and then it will tell you to add to dictionary or take options from what is here. Okay, so that subsequently, the moment you add this word to the dictionary, everyone it has underlined will vanish, because then it will now assume that this is a vocabulary in your dictionary, and so it should not flag it. So it's nothing too complicated. So you can create your own autocorrect entries, and words you type often, such as a name, and words you often misspell, will not be an issue. It will automatically reverse them. So if you want to create autocorrect entry, you just have to open the autocorrect dialog box, and then if you want to insert an autocorrect entry in the document, you type the text you want, and then you hit your space bar, and that is all. That becomes history. Great. That is also fine. Now we have the thesaurus. Thesaurus. That's also another important feature. I think you saw that when we went to the review tab, under the review tab. Okay, so we have thesaurus. It's standing there with the editor, like I indicated. Under the proofing section, you have the editor, the thesaurus, and the word count. But you can also access the editor from the home tab. Okay, under the editor group over there. So when you come to the review tab, and then you come to the proofing group, you see thesaurus. So you use thesaurus to look up synonyms for repetitive or awkward words. So all you need to do is select the word and then click on the thesaurus in the proofing group. So I can select produced, and then I'll click the thesaurus, and it will give me multiple options of synonyms that I can use to replace the word as I feel or deem fit. You get the whole point. So yeah, it's nothing too complicated. So this is what we've talked about: researching information. We have publishing a blog directly from Microsoft Word. I think the share, I made mention of the share before. That's what you see at the right top corner of the page. You see the share, and then the comment, if you need to share the document with other people so that they can also comment in one form or the other. You can also publish a blog directly from Word. A blog is an informational journal that is available to the public or sitting on the internet. So all you need to do is you go to your file tab, and then you select new, and then determine to pick a blog. You see blog amongst the option, or you can actually type the blog. Okay, and you will get there are several blogs. So we have the blog post, we have the bulletin journal, and we have some templates, of course. So you can go with the blog posts, and then you can also share the document far as your work is concerned. So Word is an extensive thing. It's not limited to what do you call it? Just typing a document and printing it out. The word count bit will tell you how many words that have been used in this whole document. Okay. So to give you the statistics, I typically don't come here to get to see the statistics because you can find that also on the status bar. You can equally click on it and it will trigger the same dialog box for you. So you need to just experience this for yourself and then know exactly what you are doing. Next on the list is line spacing. Line spacing. So we can change line spacing and indents of a document. So if you are adding white space to a document, it can actually be made easier to read so that you can tell that we are dealing with this line at one point in time. I've moved to this line, I've moved to the other line. In terms of reading, it makes it easier. So you can increase spaces between lines using the line and paragraph spacing list row, and all of that is can be identified under the home tab. You would notice that if you come to the paragraph group, we have line and paragraph spacing right here. Okay, so before you even conclude, depending on which line you have selected, you see the effect as I move the cursor on. I'm not clicking, I'm just moving the cursor between each line spacing in that particular order. Now, if you want to adjust it, you can select from these options, or you can specifically go to the line spacing options and then manipulate the figures there to align it based on certain requirements. Now, if you can go and check on the university's website about requirements for a project work, a documented project work, you would notice that they have given you some specifics, line spacing, indenting, etc., etc. Now, you may not want to go and check because that's typically students' attitude, but when the time comes and your supervisor refers you back to the university's requirements, you remember I made mention of this some time ago, but you may want to go and check and then apply it to some mere documents you may be dealing with, so you can get used to this particular routine. Okay, so you can use that to increase your spacing between your lines, etc. Can increase the space between even paragraphs as well, so you can control that. So when you go to the paragraph dialog box, there are several categories. We have the indent and spacing and line and page breaks, and even among them we have categories: the general one, the indentation, the spacing, etc. And you get to see a preview before you even conclude on what you want. Now, the settings you put in place, you can use the set as default so that to maintain it regardless of any document that you may be working on subsequently. So that is also another option available to you for you to use. When we talk about indenting, it's just about extending, maybe, pushing in the margin of a particular row online. So I can use this increasing indent to indent this entire paragraph. And you notice that there is a bit of a distance between the start of this line and the start of this line. The margin, as far as this line is concerned, has moved a bit deeper. So basically, that is what we mean by we have indented a line if there's a new vocabulary in your dictionary. So you get to adjust all of that. Okay, great. So we said that indenting a paragraph actually moves the edge of the paragraph in from the left or right margin, depending on the alignment that you are using. And so there are markers that will show. So you notice that if you look at the ruler, even though the margin of the main document ends here, this marker shows that this paragraph is starting from here. This is what we're referring to as the indent marker. It's very important, so you take notice of that. Right, now you can also apply word effects and typography feature, and this allows you to add visual appeal, to add some special features to your document. Yes, glows, reflection, and so on and so forth. It's actually quite interesting. We have the text effect and typography. That is exactly what I'm talking about. So if I select this text, I can leverage on any of these options here to add some sweetness and beauty to the work. Okay, so you determine that shadows, reflection, glow, as far as the selected text is concerned. Yeah, it's easier when you have a text and you are just formatting it than to implement the formatting before you even introduce a text. That can be a bit complicated. complicated and difficult. So, yeah, it's nothing too complicated, right? There are several types of the indentation, and I will leave you to read them from the key text as I've already shared with you and make the best out of them, right? Styles. We need to talk about styles. So we are moving away from the other section. We're talking about styles at this point in time. Now, styles is a very important feature of Microsoft Word. I personally do not joke with. Okay, a style is a set of format settings that are named and then stored together. Now, imagine we need to maintain what do you call it? Let's say this section of the document is supposed to begin as introduction, and then this is say point. So introduction, and then maybe after this paragraph we have all referred to as the section A. Okay, section A. Now you see the difference between these two titles. This very one is probably a main heading. Now let's assume even in the main topic, let me create 3 categories of headings. Okay, so we could say that we have say chapter 1. Okay, now in a series of documents you may have chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. Each of them may have introduction, each of them may have some subheadings. You don't want them to have the same formatting, the same features. Okay, so maybe one is bigger than the other, one is bolder than the other, some may be underlined, etc. So typically, as and when you create chapter 1, you would want to select the chapter, come and bolden it, and maybe increase the font size a bit. Maybe you want to put an underline to it. Then you come to introduction, you do something similar, and then you increase it small because this one is 18, font size 18. You make this one 16. You come to this one, and then you do something similar, except that the font size you keep it maybe at 12 or something. So as you can see, I've done something similar. Now, as and when you require these features to repeat in say chapter 2, the tendency is that you have to go and be changing all of these things again. And that is where styles solves this particular problem. And it was introduced in Office 2013 upwards, and initially didn't make sense. I think Office 2007 initially didn't make sense, but it has come to stay, and I personally love it. It's something you really must value as a feature for Microsoft Office. So what at all is this long story of styles that I'm talking about here? So let's go back to our default settings. So you notice that we have styles group. When you click on this expansion button, you have series of options. Okay, now watch me move the cursor through the styles group and see exactly what happens to the text that I've selected. Okay, you see all the changes that are happening. Now, each of these changes comprises a font size, a line spacing, almost all the formatting things that we have spoken about. So you can group all the set of formatting that applies to say heading 1 and then keep it in your styles. The requirements for headings 2, you meet that as well, and you keep it for your styles. You do the same for 3 and headings 4 as and when you require. So that when I get to chapter 2 and I need, so for example, if I use this heading 1 style, okay, and then I think this is supposed to be, okay, so let me just break page here. Insert break page here. So here maybe it's also chapter, let's say chapter 2 or something. Okay, that's fine. Now you notice the difference. This is chapter 1. Look how big and nice it looks, like bluish. Here it looks some way. So instead of coming to highlight this and then going to calibrate to change what all of these formatting events that you may want to perform, I can equally come to the styles group and just select it again, and it happens. Voila. Now you can edit your styles by right clicking on the style. So you notice that this is assigned to heading 1, headings 2. You can have to even headings 5 depending on your choice. So I will just right click on heading 1, go to the modify section and tweak it a bit. So maybe I want it all black. I need it to stay as 16. Maybe the font type I need Times New Roman. I want a double spacing, which is usually a requirement at the university level. I want all my things to be edge to edge. And then I can select automatically update, and it will update all the areas that I've used that particular styles. Subsequently, it becomes useful again. So you notice that it has taken effect. Okay, it is quite a simple feature. So style sets are groups of related styles designed to be used together in a document. So they give document a cohesive look, and then the sets will include styles of title, subtitle, headings, body text, and so on and so forth. You may want to play around with the styles and then enjoy its usefulness to the fullest. It's very, very important. Now, if you notice something, I broke a page and then I came to create chapter 2. Now, the importance of page break here is this. Typically, when you look at this section of the text, as you type, you notice that things are going. When I hit the return key, I come to the next line. Now, watch what is going to happen. When I hit the return key again, it's also moving. All right. So what I can do here is that if I want all of this portion not to be part of this page, all I do is that I click on the insert and I break this page. So anything that I wrote will vanish. So if you notice, if I'm coming down from the page, okay, let me reduce the zoom in and zoom out a bit. Okay, so you notice that there is a huge gap between chapter 2 and chapter 1. Even if you use the arrow key to come down, it will skip the first line of the second page and come all the way to the third one, as you can see from here. So what happens is that even if I have extra input after putting together a series of documents, okay, if chapter 2 is supposed to start on a fresh page, it will always shift to the next page. It doesn't matter how much space is left on the preceding page, it is going to shift to start a brand new page, and that is really, really good. It doesn't affect your page numbers and so on and so forth in any way. So you may want to take notice of that as well. Great. So if you want to number your pages, it's pretty simple. Let's just add that feature to it. So you go to your insert. Now note this, they speak volumes. Anything you wish to insert in your work, you go to your insert tab, right on the ribbon, and select what you need. So you go to insert tab, and then you will come across page number under the header and footer group. All you need to do is select the page number, determine where you want it to be, at the top of the page, bottom of the page, in the margins, current position, or you can even format your page numbers. It depends on whatever you want. So typically we do the bottom. So you look at the templates and options that are available, just select it, and then you see the page number right here, 3, 2, and 1 at the center of the page. So that is about that. It's nothing too complicated there as well. Okay, so you can add headers and footers as well, the same way as you added a page. Once we selected the header and footer, we have a contextual page that has evolved for us. Originally, it was in the insert tab where we have just header and footer group, header, footer, page number. Okay, but the moment we trigger the page number bit, we have header and footer tab with all the other tools extended to it. So we have the header and footer group, the insert group, the navigation group, options, positions, and then the button to have the system closed. A header is actually a text or graphics that appears at the top of every page of the document, and the footer does quite the opposite. So headers and footers often contain information inside the title of the document, the author's name, date, and sometimes even page numbers. And that is one other thing that you need to get used to. So if you want to see it by way of demonstration, let me just quickly go to the insert, insert a blank header, and you notice that something has appeared there. Now if I go to the subsequent pages, you see the same thing appearing right there. Right, it's the same as the footer. So all you need to do is just go and select the footer, and then put something that you notice that it has to capture all the information. Typically, it will contain the title of the presentation and the document, something. These are all relevant descriptions that you can provide. Great. Okay. So you take notice of that. Now you may want to insert citations. You may want to insert citations. Now in citations and bibliography goes along. Citations has to do with referencing something somebody has done and you want to cite. That can easily be done. Now all of these are under the references group of your tab on your tab. Now the references group you have here, it has Mendeley amongst. You may not have Mendeley as part of yours, but with time you go and learn about this plugin and insert it. So we're going to limit ourselves to what we have. So we can insert a citation to a portion of the work. For example, I can let me enlarge this view. Can select themes, or maybe let me just select themes, and then I'll indicate a citation. Now this citation is for Mendeley. I made a mistake by clicking on it. I need to find a way to stop it because I don't need it. Let me just close it. It's not relevant now. So this is the citation I want you to see: citations and bibliography. So we can add a new source. So what we have not stored any citation in MS Word. So you find a journal. The journal has a title. It has publishers. It has dates. These are key information you always need from a source of information when you are dealing with a research work that you are computing. So you use the word references feature to keep track of your reference sources. And so you insert a citation in the document, and then you give credit to the source of the quotation that you want to present. So you have to come and add a new source if it doesn't already exist. In the site create source, you determine the type of source of information. If it's a journal article, put the names of the authors, and what was the title of the paper, what's the journal name, what is the year, and then the pages as well. The pages of the manuscript, whatever the document is that contains the information that you think you are citing. Even if it's a website, we have rules for websites. So if you are referencing a website, there is an option here called website. And one option here called website. So you can leverage on all of these things. Insert your citation. Now, when you compile all your citations and you are done, and you need to insert a bibliography, which we refer to as our references in this part of our world, then you just go to the end of your document, for example, and then all you need to do is bibliography, select one option, and you notice that bibliography will be written there for you, and then the source of the information will also be duly acknowledged. So it's very important you get used to this. Bibliography is the same thing. So you have to define the person, the source, and then present the entire document. So basically, this is about what we intend to discuss in this particular video. We have looked at editing and formatting documents in Word 2019, or in this case, Office 365. If for any reason you have any question whatsoever, don't hesitate to let me know. Leave me a message on Sakai, in the chat, any means possible as far as emails are also concerned. Use these platforms and then reach out to me and let's see what we can do. So I will see you in the next video.